Hello, welcome back to the ministry. I just wanted to do this quick word where I wanted to tell you guys about the fact that I saw something yesterday on another one of those television shows and it made me think about something. We all have heard the scripture that God will make our enemies to bless us, right? Well, I saw something displayed on this television show about how the enemy was used to bless. God comes to a man's house. His sons are outside, and the guy wants to talk to their father. The eldest one, who was in like his mid 30s, he says the person's not there, and the guy acts like he's gonna go in the house. He runs to go and stop him. And when he goes to run and stop him, the guy pulls a gun out and he shoots him in the leg. The entire episode they spend trying to get to the doctor, to get the doctor there. The doctor gets there. He figures out, oh, I can't do nothing. I can't save him because of the fact that it's already something going on here with his leg. I'm going to have to cut it off, this, that, and the other thing. And meanwhile, the guy that shot him sitting there the whole time listening to the way this doctor is talking. So they get down to the point where they're about to perform an operation on him, and the guy wants to remove the leg. And the guy's saying, the guy that shot him said, I don't think that he needs his leg removed. And they're like, well, he's like, that's the only thing I can do because I think that there's gangrene in it and this, that, and the other thing. And the guy that shot him is saying, you can remove the gangrene. All you got to do is cut this away, get rid of the the blood clot, remove that, patch that off, we can remove the bullet, and his leg will be fine. And he's like, but I can't do that. And he's like, if I don't take the leg off, this, that, and the other, he's the original doctor that was brought there, he was in his own head. And then right down to the point that he's getting ready to start the surgery, his hands is shaking. And by this point, the father's back and he's like, do whatever it is that you have to do. But the guy that shot him is sitting there nonchalantly arguing about all this kind of stuff in relation to how he actually wanted something from the father. And they sitting up there trying to figure out, well, we gonna have to cut his leg off and this, that, and the other thing. And he's sitting there, he says, I don't think you need to cut his leg off. And the father's like, you shut up, this, that, and the other. And he's like, I'm trying to tell you something. I don't think his leg needs to get cut off. And he expressed all these things about the reason why he thought his leg didn't need to get cut off. And the doctor is green in the face. And the father's like, what you mean? All you have to do is this? And the guy said, well, yeah, but I don't know, and this, that, and the other. And he said, if there's a possibility to save his leg, try to do what he said. And he's like, well, I don't know, and this, that, and the other. So ends up coming back and saying, I can't do that. I'm sorry. And the guy that shot him turns around and says, I used to be a Civil War veteran doctor on the battlefield. So not only is he prepared to work a situation where they don't have all of the equipment in this man's house, but he's also certified in the type of surgery the guy did or needed to have done to his leg because of the fact that he'd done it multiple times in the battlefield in relation to other parts of the body. He's like, that's all you have to do is tie the artery off and do this, that, and the other. He said, well, if you can do it, the doctor that came there to actually do the procedure ends up assisting him as he does the procedure himself. The enemy that shot him in the first place ends up performing the surgery to save his life. While meanwhile, when certain things are happening uh around him, he's finding out that one of his people got shot because the other son turned around and killed him. So other son gets there right as they're finishing up the surgery on the brother, and he's still dictating because he's still evil, talking about, oh, you kill my guy, I'm gonna have to kill one of yours. And the father standing there like, oh Lord, not the one that you just finished stitching up. He's like, because he's looking at him, and he's like, no, I'm gonna have to kill the other son. And he's like, what? So as soon as he finishes, he's literally telling the other doctor what to do to finish the procedure he just completed. As he's wiping his hands off, talking about how you gonna kill the other one. And the other son walks past as if he's getting ready to go pick up the gun the guy told him that he just threw out there. And he ends up coming around the backside of this mirror or something like that, turns around, shoots at the guy, jumps over the table, and shoots him from underneath. Therefore, providing the exact same injury that he had just finished stitching up for the other son to himself. So he's laying on the ground. He said, I don't have a Civil War doctor to help me. And he ends up laying there and dying. What was my point in giving you that whole spiel? Sometimes God will allow you to end up in situations where he wants to prove a point that this enemy is going to bless you, whether that person is going to give you information. As we recall in the scripture where David got the information from the enemy's camp about how many enemies there were, all of this, because the enemy had left one of their own people behind and refused to take them with them, if you recall what I'm saying. And David and his troops nursed this guy back to health, only to find out exactly how many people they were fighting up against from the person that worked for their own enemy. God will use an enemy to bless you. In the situation I just told you about, the very enemy that shot him ended up being the very enemy that was only one that was equipped to do the surgery to save his life. And the second that he did it, just for his overzealousness of saying, I'm going to kill this person, he ends up getting the exact same injury because God don't like ugly, and dying from that. God sees all things, and he understands all things. God sees, there's one of the names of God called Elroy. Now, don't argue with me in relation to this. Some of you are going to see a video pop up, but it's listed to come up in a few months, talking about love letters to God. One of those letters, I'm going to show you, because I've seen how people do not understand that there are multiple names of God, a sheet of paper in one of those that shows all of the names of God. I got all of those names in Bible study over 8 years ago. And that's why I use them. I have a story behind that as well. God sees all things. He knows all things. He knows from the end to the beginning. God knows who your enemies are and who's going to bless you. And sometimes he'll use the very same enemy that's trying to curse you, turn around and bless you, and then take that same enemy out. To you, that seems like the most illogical thing in the world. But sometimes he used that as a penance offering towards this individual, that in them doing this act for you, before he takes them completely out, he'll use your enemies to bless you. So I need you to really think about that. And that's pretty much all I had to say. I think I got one more word, but that is all I had to say about this particular topic. I'll be back for the next one.